Hey guys, welcome back. Today we've got a treat. No, this is not my Praetorian that went through the wash and shrunk in the dryer. This is the Praetorian Slim. Just got this in the other day from Jake, the Medford Guy. Thank you very much for sending this in, Jake. Greatly appreciate it. Let's dive into the specs of this. This knife was debuted at SHOT Show this year, and it is pretty cool. It's smaller than I thought from the video, but the debut video I saw from SHOT Show. But it's very interesting. So let's go through the specs really quick. And I've got several different Medfords out here on the table to compare it to. But let's just run through the specs really quick. Close length, 4 3/8 inches. Overall length of 7 5/8. The blade length is 3.29 with the edge length of 3.28. Got a little gunk on the blade there because I just kind of rinsed it off and cleaned it up before they did the video. Blade steel on this is S35 VN. The blade thickness is 0.12, weighs in at 3.8 ounces. Not very heavy. With an overall thickness of 0.39, not including the clip. Those of you that are familiar with the Slim MIDI have already basically held the Praetorian Slim. It is the exact same length, closed. Overall, it is just a hair shorter. Let's see if we can line this up here. It's literally just a tiny bit shorter than the Praetorian, than the Slim MIDI. Same exact thickness. 1/8 inch, 1/8 inch. So the handle scales and the blade are all the same thickness. It's roughly the same shape as the Slim MIDI. I mean, it's the same size, it's just a little bit different shape, blade, and handle. So I liken it very much to, you guys have all seen me do this comparison, the MIDI, standard thickness MIDI, versus the Infraction. Essentially the same knife with a little bit different blade and handle shape. But same, virtually the same weight. I've weighed these, and you can look back on my videos of these two that I've done. I did not take note of the weights for this video. The other one that it's very similar to is the Marauder H versus the Onbelay. Very similar knives, same thickness overall, basically the same length, blade length, all of that. All very similar in nature. Basically, sister knives. So if you've held, and if you've held the Slim MIDI, or you are familiar with the Slim MIDI, then you're already familiar with the Praetorian Slim. This particular one is in a drop point, as is my Slim MIDI. And they do offer this. This is a current knife. I don't know that they're actually shipping yet, but you can order them on their website. Standard, no upgrades, it's $525. You can get PVD coating on the blade or the scales or both. There's the standard Medford options. You can do some different stuff. You can anodize one scale and PVD the other. I mean, you can do some different things. And then your price goes up. PVD coating of the blade is, I think, $30. The scales is another $30. You know, it's minimal. But straight out of the box, stock format, like this one, in drop point or tanto, is $525. And these are available to order now. When they're shipping, I don't know, soon. The clip, it's different. It's not the same as on the Slim MIDI. I wish it was. It is a titanium clip, I believe, but it's just a stamped clip rather than a milled clip. I wish they would have stayed with the milled clip, but that's just me. I mean, I think it would carry just about as deep in your pocket either way. So I think this is just a more cost-effective way to do it with the stamped clip. Let's compare it to a full-size Praetorian. So if we butt them up side by side, the back of the breaker of the full size to the butt end of the Slim, you can see it is quite a bit shorter. That's okay. It's also quite a bit slimmer. And obviously the profile is much slimmer in this direction as well. So it really does disappear in your pocket. And if you want to compare it to a full tie, it can almost stick inside. Drastic difference there, right? So what do I like about the Slim? There's a lot to like. It disappears in your pocket. It's super lightweight. The action on this particular one, and remember, this is just a loaner. The action's not super great. I think it just needs a cleaning because it's a little bit gritty inside, but this was, they brought, I think, two to SHOT Show. This particular one with a drop point, and then they brought one with a tanto, and then they might have had one more. They had 2 or 3 there, and that was it. So that's okay. More of a prototype version than the finished product, I'm guessing. It is the flat bottom fuller, as everybody is aware. That's what they do now. So you can deploy it that way. You can actually thumb flip it most of the time if it's not in front of the camera, and it will fly open. But typically I just Spidey flick mine, and that works great too. What I think is interesting or just different, so that I just want to point out, on the pivots, if you look at the one on the Slim MIDI, it's much more chamfered around the edges. To me, this looks like a much more finished pivot than on the Praetorian Slim. It just has a much smaller chamfer. It just looks a little less refined to me. It's not really a knock. That's just, to me, I like the older style pivot if this is what they're going for. I'm not sure. Similar hardware. It has a lanyard hole. This has the breaker on the shoulder, I think is what they're calling it, so that you can break the glass like this. Okay, sure, whatever. What I do like is, and we've talked about this on a lot of my other Medfords, is the exposed lock face. Is something I don't like in general, just because I think that I don't understand it. It could be a problem if you drop this and drug it on the ground. You do not have an exposed lock face here. Tiny bit there, I guess, but it's not really exposed. The other thing I very much appreciate is the hidden stop pin. So you don't see the stop pin here, like on the regular Praetorian, you see the stop pin. As you deploy the knife, you see the stop pin. Here, it's a hidden stop pin, and when it's open, it's a hidden stop pin. I very much appreciate that. And if we look on the inside, it just has recesses cut in here and on the backside for the stop pin to go. I think that's a very nice touch. I really like that part. It just makes for a cleaner looking knife, both in the open and closed position, in my opinion. One thing I don't like is on the lock bar, it's flush from side to side, whereas on the full size, there is more of a cutout on the show side to kind of access the lock bar a little bit easier. Same with on the slim midi, it's flush as well. However, on the Praetorian Slim, where you put your thumb, there's a milled out piece, but that's a really hard edge. It's not going to cut you, but it certainly does not feel good when you unlock the lock. You definitely feel it, and it is uncomfortable to unlock. If you reach over and do it with your fingers this way, it's not so bad. But if you deploy with your thumb, it's an uncomfortable lock disengagement. I can't lie. So I don't like that. I think they could have chamfered that just slightly to make it a more comfortable. There is no piece of the blade sticking out. You're not going to catch yourself on it. The fit and finish is very good. And overall, I think it's a good knife. They still, this is again just a hard edge where the lock cutout is. So, is it terrible? No. Is the ergonomics good? Yeah, it fits in your hand pretty well. It feels pretty good. You do, if you're really squeezing it, you kind of feel the clip move around a little bit. But there's no blade play in any position, front, back, side to side. Even when it's closed, it's a solid Medford. Lockup is solid. Overall, it's great. I think one thing I did notice is it does not have serial number on it. So I don't know if that's because these were early ones and the rest will have it. Typically on their knives now, they're putting serial numbers on all three pieces. There's no numbers on this, so I don't know what that means. Are they going away from the numbers, or is this just, hey, they made a handful to take to the show and the rest will get numbers? I don't know. But overall, I like it. It's very slim, which is both a positive and a negative. It almost feels too small. And while I like the slim midi has a bigger finger choil here that you can choke up on it, where you don't get that here. So I kind of wish it did, but that would then decrease the edge length. So for me, the ergonomics are okay. I much prefer the ergos on the slim midi. But all in all, it's a solid knife. I think they've really changed their tune a little bit because they're going to smaller, slimmer, more traditional style knives, I guess. I don't know. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Why don't you guys tell me in the comments below? Let's just do a couple of quick size comparisons because, well, it's what I like to do. Against your Sharpie, we'll just run through these really quick. The large Sebenza 21, pretty comparable size overall. The Sebenza is a little bit longer, but roughly the same overall dimensions, thickness wise. Yeah, pretty much, very similar. Not the same, of course, right? And then one more, just because I love pulling this out. The Steelcraft Todd Begg Field Marshal. Obviously more of a full-size knife, full thickness knife, if you will, compared to Slim, Praetorian Slim. So, I don't know, what do you guys think of, one, this Slim model, two, what Medford is doing and downsizing, if you will, from the big overbuilt knives down to more slim and slender. I don't want to call it a gentleman's folder, but more average sized EDC friendly size knives. Would love to hear your comments below. So again, thank you very much, Jake, for allowing me to check this out and sending it over. I will try to remember to send it back to you here in the next, 9 months or so. Just kidding. But no, truly, thank you, Jake, for sending it over. I greatly appreciate that. I appreciate all the support you give to me and the channel, and for being just a great guy. So I will put a link to his website down below. Please check him out. If you don't know who he is, you're missing out. If you do know who he is, hit him up. Tell him you saw him mentioned on my videos. He has promised to take care of anybody that says I sent them. So please use and abuse him to get the best prices out there anywhere on Medford knife and tool equipment. He can order up anything. He has a huge inventory. He is one of their largest dealers, I'm going to go out on a limb and say. And he is one hell of a nice guy. We've been friends for about 3 years now. So hit him up for all of your Medford needs so he can just take care of you. He's got great customer service. He's available all the time, and he's quick to respond. So please check him out. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps him out, and then he can help me out by sending things in for me to check out to share to you guys. So thanks a lot for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And please, again, let me know what you think of the Slim Praetorian and the entire downsizing of the Medford knives. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you on the next one.